Hi, my name is Piers Lunt, and today I'm going to be doing a short presentation on RE Marker and the Mexican steroid business, which is essentially the initial precursor to the search and production of the first contraceptive pill. So, who is RE Marker? Well, after dropping out of the University of Maryland in 1925, after 3 years, he found a job working for the Ethel Corporation, which is more along his line of specialty, being a physical chemist, before changing careers to work as an organic chemist at the Rockefeller Institute. This led to him developing a field of steroid research, for which he was accepted a funded spot at Pennsylvania State University, and this is where he started to focus on progesterone. At this time, the newly discovered sex hormones were under the spotlight due to the many menstrual issues that they could fix, especially progesterone. However, almost all research and treatment with it was almost impossible due to the huge price tag. And thus, because of that, came the search for a cheaper production of progesterone, and whoever could find that could potentially make a lot of money. The first development was finding a better source of compounds that could be made or processed into progesterone. This started with the steroidal sasparginin from the sarsaparilla plant. However, this was still too expensive. And eventually, after a nationwide search for a source, it was found in the Mexican yam, or Dioscorea as it's called. This is a great source because when you harvested it, it had very, very large roots, which enabled a lot of the progesterone to be made and a lot of the diosgenin to be found. But to process this in Mexico, because he couldn't bring them back across the American border, he partnered up with Laboratorios Hormona, which is a Mexican hormone laboratory which mostly produced gland extract, and begun processing it, these yams, down into a syrup which you can much more easily transport and react to form the much wanted progesterone. So, the first step of the marker degradation, which is the process that was used to turn the diosgenin into the progesterone which we wanted. So it all started with a molecule which scientists thought to be inert. Marker, however, did not agree with the figure and turned it into an intended product, progesterone. Acetyls are inert in basic conditions, but not in acidic conditions. Hence, Marker reacted the diosgenin with the acetic anhydride to prevent an OH group forming when he opened up the ring, which is circled in red. So this formed the first bit of the chain, which will later be cut off in this process. Okay, the marker degradation step 2. So the circled ring in red is then opened and oxidized with chromic acid to allow the chain off the side to be hydrolyzed off the next step. So this has formed almost progesterone in the blue ring on the right hand side, and then a side chain which we want to try and get rid of. And we have made this able to get rid of by turning it into an ester link which can be hydrolyzed. So, step 3 in this process, the compound is then hydrolyzed in basic conditions in order to break the ester linkage and leave just the chain that is needed. The ethanol is then used in order to eliminate the water off where the ester had just been taken off, to form the highlighted double bond, the highlighted in blue there. Next in this process is step 4, a little bit more complicated. So after taking off the ester chain, the red highlighted double bond is hydrogenated to turn it into a single bond, and then the hydroxyl group all the way on the left is oxidized into a ketone through the Oppenauer oxidation, which is well explained by the chemical equation at the top of the slide. This involves the oxidation of an OH group with 2 R groups, which is in our soon-to-be progesterone, and the subsequent reduction of propanone into propan-2-ol, which also leads to the ketone being where the hydroxyl group once was. After this, the blue highlighted double bond on the left then shifts onto the left ring in order to form a conjugation with the ketone bond. After this step, he had finally managed to create a price-viable solution to mass-producing progesterone. it was this breakthrough in the production of it that actually led to them being able to, on a large scale, produce progesterone and thus put much more research into it. And finally, probably one of the most well-known uses for it, although it has been developed to some extent, was the introduction of the contraceptive pill. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you learned something or enjoyed, maybe not, maybe. If you have any feedback for me, that'd be fantastic. Just let me know anything I've done well and things I need to improve on, and that'd be brilliant. Thank you very much.